Hello to you. I'm Judge Ashley Wilcott with Court TV. We are on day 3 of verdict watch in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial. The 67-year-old disgraced movie producer is facing 5 felony counts. Weinstein is accused by 6 women of rape and other sexual misconduct, but Weinstein maintains the encounters were consensual. Now, on Wednesday, the jury sent a request for a readback of testimony from Annabella Sciorra's friend, Rosie Perez, along with all communications that actually mentioned Sciorra. We are also in Tampa, Florida for another high-profile case against former ice cream man Michael Keatley. This is a 48-year-old man accused in a deadly Thanksgiving Day shooting nearly a decade ago that killed 2 brothers and injured 4 other men. Now, the state claims Keatley was acting as a vigilante seeking justice after he was shot in an armed robbery. This morning, after a short closing argument from the prosecution, a surprise move from the defense. Defendant Michael Keatley waived his right to present a closing argument. Now, we are on verdict watch in the Ice Cream Man murder trial. Stay with Court TV for gavel-to-gavel coverage of these cases and all of America's most compelling criminal trials. I'm Ashley Wilcott. Now back to you in the studio.
Ashley, thank you. You can learn more about other cases around the nation right now at courttv.com. Well, have you ever tried chicken and waffles?
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's so yesterday. Now that there's a fried chicken and donut sandwich. It sounds like it should belong at the fair.
Yeah.
That's right. So KFC is introducing what it hopes will be a new trend. Chicken and donuts. It can be ordered as a sandwich with a chicken fillet between 2 warm glazed donuts, or as a basket with your choice of tenders or bone-in chicken with a donut or 2 on the side. They'll be available nationwide starting Monday through March 16th.
I've had the donut burger at the fair, and that's pretty good. Maybe this will work too.
I'm gonna leave it to you. You can try it. Tell me how you, and then tell me how you feel later.
Sick. All right, coming up all new at 6 o'clock here on RTV6, a Call 6 investigation uncovers a disturbing problem in Indiana classrooms.
Running and biting and headbutting and all of it.
Teachers hurt on the job by their own students. For the first time, hear from educators on why they say this is happening.
But first on the Now Indy, another baby saved in Indiana thanks to a baby box. We'll take you to the community where it happened. You're watching RTV6.
Here's what we have lined up for you today on the Now. The coronavirus is leaving American families in limbo with adoptions. We're talking with one family running out of time to bring a teen into their home. And payday loans are a popular way to get money quick, but there's something in the fine print you need to be aware of, and it could land you in court. And kids, they grow out of their clothes so quick. So a mom has come up with a unique way to offer new outfits at a fraction of the cost.
Thank you, Annie. I'm Amanda Starantino, and you're watching the Now Indy. We continue to follow breaking news on the east side, the aftermath of a tanker crash and fire at I-70 and I-465. NDOT says the southbound ramp from I-465 to I-70 eastbound will remain closed for a long period of time because bridge inspectors are still working. I-70 eastbound coming from downtown at I-465 will open soon. Investigators say the tanker was coming around the curb on I-465 southbound, heading to I-70 eastbound when he hit the guardrail, lost control, and overturned the tanker. The tanker was carrying jet fuel and overturned and crashed and caught fire. The driver is in critical condition. A rare genetic disorder could soon be added to the state's newborn screening panel. We first told you about the potentially deadly disease that mainly affects boys last month. Now, we spoke with a mother whose 2 sons have ALD and were screened for it when they lived out of state. She wants to help make it law here. In most cases, children lose their sight, hearing, and mobility, leading to a vegetative state and ultimately die. Adding ALD to Indiana's newborn screening panel allows families to catch it quickly and give kids a chance at a normal and healthy life.
We're happy. We are very happy. We're relieved. You know, coming to Indiana, we knew it wasn't here. And now that we know it's here and it's gotten here, and we've helped a little bit, maybe even just a little bit, we're glad, we're happy.
By adding ALD to the newborn screening panel, Indiana would include every test the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services recommends. The bill passed out of the Senate unanimously and now heads to the governor for consideration as a new law. And for the second time this year, a newborn is safe after being surrendered in a baby box in Indiana. Yesterday, around 4:30 in the afternoon, a newborn girl was placed in a safe haven baby box at a fire station in New Haven. That's just east of Fort Wayne. The opening of the door triggered an alarm, and the baby was retrieved about a minute later by firefighters working at the station.
We may never know the reason you made this difficult decision, but we want you to know we honor you today. Because of the selfless act, your newborn is safe.
The box was just put into service less than 2 months ago. The little girl was taken to a hospital and is doing just fine. Just last month, the baby was surrendered in a safe haven box in Seymour. This is the 6th baby to be placed in a baby box in Indiana in the last 2 years. Kyle, a beautiful shot outside.
Yeah, real nice view here from the Pagoda camera looking back at the Circle City, and we've been in and out of some sunshine. You can see a little more cloud cover that's out there right now. That's because we've had that north breeze throughout the day coming off of Lake Michigan, and that's kept the clouds, and maybe you've even seen a couple of flurries out there. You've got more sunshine, though, as you work your way off into areas of Park County, around Rockville, and even Greencastle, where temperatures right now are in the upper 20s, sitting at an even 30 in downtown and 22 chilly degrees in Richmond, where you've had more of that cloud cover. Now, temperatures will take a quick dip here as we see that sun setting. We're into the middle 20s by 7 o'clock, 22 at 10. We'll have a light north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and temperatures by tomorrow morning will be settling down into the lower and middle teens. Now, if we have a little more cloud cover out there, that may hold us up just a little bit, but calling for a low of 14 in Indy. The good news is things are going to start to warm up during those overnights. We've got lows in the 20s and even the 30s by Monday. We'll talk about those afternoons in a few minutes.
The flu is still a concern, and today the CDC is giving us a glimpse at how it has progressed this season. The 2019-2020 flu season had the earliest start since 2009. But the CDC says the vaccine has been able to significantly reduce the number of doctor visits. The shot has been about 45% effective against all strains. A longer, unfiltered, stronger burning cigarette is back on the market, but this one isn't meant for smoking by people. It's designed to make things in our homes safer.
We brought these cigarettes to the market, and all the manufacturers for mattresses and textiles have been designing their products to meet that performance that's dictated by what that cigarette looks like and the way it performs.
The National Institute of Standards and Technology designs and tests what's called standard reference material cigarettes. Companies use them to test products to meet flammability standards. But the NIST ran out of the test cigarettes a few years ago because of high demand, and they've finally been able to work with the manufacturer to make a new cigarette that's consistent with the original. This batch should be enough for about 20 years of testing, which is crucial in preventing deadly fires.
These are the deadliest fires. They're far more likely, if there is an ignition that's created by a cigarette, it's far more likely to result in an injury or a death.
A note about mattresses, though. Some renovated or refurbished mattresses, like the one you see on the left of your screen, may burn faster than a new mattress. Officials in the industry caution against buying these, which may have a yellow or red tag or no tag at all. All right, let's start the Now News feed. An agency within the Defense Department may have been the victim of a data breach. Reuters is reporting the Defense Information Systems Agency sent out a letter saying data in its network, including social security numbers, may have been exposed. Among the agency's responsibilities, overseeing secure communications for the president. A new report says income inequality is getting worse in the U.S. The wealthiest part of the population saw pay increase by nearly 5%. On average, though, most Americans saw a boost of just 1%. The cheating scandal surrounding the Houston Astros is now trickling down to Little League. Teams across the country are getting rid of the Astros mascot in leagues. Teams in South Carolina, Pennsylvania, and California have made the change already. Go back to our lineup. There's a new warning about the fine print in payday loans. Why people are ending up in court over less than $1,000.
The 2020 Altima.
A small loan could land you in court or even behind bars. In a new study, the Consumer Federation of America finds almost all storefront payday lenders in Utah have a small claims carve-out in their contracts. That means that they can take borrowers to court if they don't repay on time. The CFA is concerned this may be happening elsewhere.
But it also tells us a lot about what happens when we decide to let free markets work without any consumer protection laws.
Although it's illegal to jail someone for an unpaid debt, the CFA says borrowers find themselves under arrest because of other issues, like failing to show up in court. Some low-income workers can't afford to take a day off and don't have a way to get to hearings or simply just get fed up.
Many of these borrowers are paying back the original balance of the loan 1, 2, 3, 4 times and are still just running like a hamster on a hamster wheel trying to pay off these debts. And then the lenders are suing them in court and bringing cases that don't just last a week or two. It's not like Judge Judy. These cases are going on for years.
The CFA study found the average amount of debt that lands someone in court is around $994. But borrowers, they can fall behind because of sky-high interest rates. And on average, that comes to $15 for every $100 borrowed. Coming up in our lineup.
Showed us some pictures of him, and our hearts melted. We wanted him from that point on.
The coronavirus and an extreme circumstance are causing that family extra anxiety as they try to adopt from China. Next on the Now, why they're running out of time to bring a boy who has waited his entire life for someone to choose him.
To Nissan Now.
China is the #1 country for international adoption, but right now millions of people there are under a coronavirus lockdown. With flights grounded and travel advisories in place, it has left thousands of orphan children and adoptive families in limbo. Usher Qureshi talked with one family who is in a race against time.
Last summer, Robin and Walt Houston decided they wanted to share their lake house home with a child in need.
We just decided to add to our family. We think we have enough to give to another child.
The Houstons are pre-approved to adopt and have been working with an international agency that specializes in placing children with hearing loss or deafness.
My parents are deaf, and my grandparents. My first language was sign language, and then I met Robin, and she knew sign. And then we both decided we wanted a deaf child.
The child they selected is 13-year-old Zhao Ji.
That's who we're waiting on right there.
Born hearing impaired, he's waited his entire life for someone to choose him.
She showed us some pictures of him, and our hearts melted. We wanted him from that point on.
Coronavirus exposed to the virus. China on virtual lockdown.
But the eruption of the coronavirus has brought dozens of adoptions like theirs to a crushing halt. Zhao Ji is living in an orphanage under lockdown in Hubei province, the epicenter of the Wuhan virus outbreak.
Scary.
Yes, it's very scary.
Pamela Neal Thomas, the China program director for Hand in Hand International Adoptions, is handling the Houston's case.
The children in the orphanages are being kept inside the compounds, and their caregivers are being asked to stay with them, so no one is leaving.
Along with being paralyzed by the outbreak, the Houstons are also racing against time.
He is 13. He's going to be 14 in October, so he will be aging out.
If he gets to his 14th birthday, he becomes ineligible for international adoption under Chinese law.
The Indiana couple says they remain hopeful the virus will be contained before it's too late.
Well, I just hope that this virus has subsided enough that we're able to travel and stay healthy, and that he stays healthy.
Reporting from Angola, Indiana, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Usher, thank you. Checking in on the Now news feed, UCLA won't use facial recognition technology. The school had considered using the tech for building access. An advocacy group said tests of the software showed it had accuracy issues. Well, one of the main actors from the Netflix show Stranger Things is helping raise awareness for a rare disorder. Gaten Matarazzo has been open about his condition, CCD. A new report says as a result of his actions, more people have been searching for information about the disorder. Well, more Americans are reporting they have more in emergency savings compared to their total credit card debt. Bankrate.com says that number sits at 49% now. It was 44% last year.
Us have eaten expired food at some point, especially because it's been sitting in our cupboard for months. But what if a store sells you already expired food? Consumer reporter John Matarese looks into what the rules are when it comes to sell-by dates so you don't waste your money.
If you want to save money on bread, donuts, and bakery products, you can save a fortune at Bakery Outlet. But one mom wanted to know, are they allowed to sell expired food? J.J. Wilkinson was shopping at the outlet mall and decided to stock up on goldfish crackers at the Pepperidge Farm Bakery Outlet. But when her daughter bit into them,
she quickly, as children do, they have no filters, said, "These taste funny. These don't taste the same."
J.J. checked the bag and couldn't believe what she saw.
December 14th, 2019. They were about 35 days old, past the sell-by date.
So she called Pepperidge Farm. So when you called customer service, what did they tell you?
They told me that they're allowed to sell past the sell-by date because it's just a recommended date.
So what are the laws when it comes to selling expired bakery products? Well, we checked and found out that despite what many people believe, there really aren't any laws. The government says, except for infant formula, product dating is not required by federal regulations. And it says a sell-by date is not a safety date, just a suggestion. A Pepperidge Farm spokeswoman, meantime, told us it is not standard to sell expired product in our stores and offered a refund. But legally, they can do it, leaving JJ with a tip for other parents.
So make sure, yes, that you do check your dates, that you don't waste your money.
Same rules apply to major supermarkets as well, so check the date on perishables before you buy so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries for RTV6.
All right, that mix of sun and clouds that we've had throughout the day setting us up for a beautiful sunset there as we look west over downtown Indianapolis. And we are going to see more in the way of clear skies tonight and less in the way of cloud cover. And that's going to allow these temperatures to drop even more, sitting around 30 degrees in Indy and Bloomington, a little bit colder for you in Kokomo. But we've got to chill out there because look at that wind. It is due north at 14 miles per hour, and that's sending those wind chills most spots into the teens. Feels like 20 downtown, not much better than where we are in Muncie at 18 for a wind chill, and it feels like 14 in Columbus. By tomorrow morning, we'll be in the teens, but lots of sunshine is back. So at 9 a.m., we bounce back to 20 degrees, and we'll see those numbers steadily climb. Still, though, it's going to be a chilly day for the lunch hour. We're in the upper 20s, and I think we'll get back into the middle 30s for that afternoon high to round out the work and school week. But those temperatures are going to continue to warm up here as we go into the weekend. Some pretty good timing, right? As we go into Saturday and even Sunday, we're talking about those highs around 50 degrees before they start to slide back a little closer to average in the lower 40s early next week. So we're going to be dry through the weekend. This is a look at TrueCast as we go Sunday night and into Monday. That's when we're going to get that next round of some soaking rain, and we could see about a ½ inch to maybe an inch of rainfall coming our way. But at least for now, we are nice and dry. There are those moderating temperatures for the weekend. We're close to 50 on Sunday. Annie?
Almost 1 in 3 U.S. adults have used a dating website or app, according to Pew Research. But people are split on if online dating is really safe. And that's why Match.com is rolling out a new feature.
The purpose of Date Check-In is to have friends and family know where you're going, know what time you're going there, and to give our daters a way to let them know if it's not going well.
Match users that opt in for Date Check-In will get prompted with a question while on the date. Are you feeling uncomfortable? So if you type yes, it will alert your check-in buddies. Obviously, if you feel more than uncomfortable, you should call the police. But the other person on the date also knows Date Check-In is being used. While there is an entire Match safety team constantly looking for spam, fraud, and inappropriate pictures, your gut is your best instinct in terms of safety.
Maybe they're asking inappropriate questions. Maybe they're being too aggressive. Take that into account and make sure that you're making good decisions and not just acquiescing because you want to go out with this person.
What scammers know is that if they can get us into an emotional state, whether it's we feel like we're falling in love or we're scared because a government agency just called and they're threatening arrest because something horrible has happened and I need to address it right away.
AARP recently looked at online dating. Nearly half of people they surveyed say they have experienced at least one red flag from an online love interest.
It could be an emergency situation, a medical issue, or, they're trying to seal this deal and they need a quick $10,000 just to make it happen and they promise they'll pay you back.
In 2019, people reported losing more than $200 million to romance scams. Well, we all love to save money wherever we can, and one mom says she was tired of spending hundreds of dollars on her kids' clothes. So she decided to take matters into her own hands, and now she's not only saving, but earning too.
I love chambray and denim. I love it. I'm gonna take this one. I sell handmade, repurposed, or vintage children's clothing and accessories.
Mom of two, Jenny Carlson turns goodwill into glamour.
And primarily, I do children's clothing, and I use materials of any kind to do that.
From men's dress shirts,
oh, I love this,
to women's blouses, patterned pants, curtains, and tablecloths.
Kids' clothing is so expensive, and they grow out of it so quickly, or they stain it in a second, and then you've spent $30 on a shirt, and now it's ruined.
She makes shopping trips to Goodwill, looking for donated items to reuse as fabric.
There's so much clothing that gets put in the landfill every year.
Those unique patterns and colors will get turned into a new and unique children's outfit.
Thank you so much. I have been sewing since I was 8 years old. My grandmother sewed a lot. My mother sewed.
Mix matching fabric from the Goodwill finds to make dresses, vests, bows, and bonnets.
This is a bandana bib pattern.
At first, Jenny made clothes for her children to save money. But over time, her hobby morphed into a real business called Sweet Basil Avenue.
I actually have a map in here of all the places I've shipped to,
where she sells on Etsy to customers all over the world.
They range from anywhere between like $15 to $30.
All depending on size and how much fabric she used.
It was actually 2 men's shirts, the green and the plaid. And so they made a dress and a vest and this bow.
Not all of us are as crafty like Jenny, but she says it's not about sewing or making money. It's about doing something that makes you happy.
Everyone needs that hobby of some kind that fills you with joy.
Next on the Now, we've told you about the expected shortage of doctors, and now there's a debate over whether nurse practitioners are the answer for filling the gap. The questions you need to be asking.